Greetings and salutations, my fellow weirdos and wildlings and other travelers upon this foolish road of life. Welcome. I am Via, the Abysmal Witch, and this is my abysmal perspective with a whole lot of sun and shadow because we have a glorious fall day and it is, well, days end earlier right now, so we got some low-hanging sun, which means we got some funky shades going on. Today, we're going to have a little retrospective. I spoke about this in the last episode of the concept, is taking a retrospective look at a ritual that I have done and sharing with you, a little of my own little history and magical experiences. So, and because ritual combined with retrospective, change an E to an I and you have retrospective, how can I not call it that, right? Right? Okay. This retrospective is going back to the Samhain night, on the Samhain nightness of nights. So on the 31st of October, many a year ago. It's, it's got to be well over 20. I think at this point, I suspect. I was doing ritual with my coven, and we were in a park doing an initiation rite. Now, this park, just so you understand, I love this park. It is a park not too far from my home, very convenient in that sense. And we were... the park has a lot of beautiful old trees. It's got a feeling of oldness to it. It's also, it's got that stretch of kind of cultivated wild or cultured wild. I don't want to say cultivated because it wasn't grown, but the wildness is still there underneath behind the pathways and the ways in which it has been shaped and confined by suburbia. And of course there's a kids park at one end and an amphitheater and there's other stuff going on, but there is this beautiful stretch of woods. And we have decided to do first degree initiation, British traditional eclectic British traditional style, which I know you can't have eclectic British traditional. It's either eclectic or it's British traditional. Well, you could call it a soft British traditional or a very traditionalized eclectic, which I don't think it was. We were more British traditional, but there was still an eclecticism to our practice that meant that I'm not comfortable calling it full-on Brit trad, because that's a more specific thing. We had many aspects of it, but we're not confined to those behaviors. So, but if there are aspects of that ritual that made it into the original Craft movie. The blade in the ritual, certain phrases, and I kind of hesitate even to acknowledge, it's findable, the information, but do I want to put out publicly the parts that were actually pretty accurate in what they used or not? I don't know. I didn't pre-think it, so since you can't take it back after you say it, I'm going to leave it at that. There are some components, but I will say there was a ritual dagger involved in the ritual because that does become important to the oh my goodness of the story. So it's late-ish on Samhain night, but it's not that late. We're probably getting closer to midnight. We are in suburbia. There have been firecrackers, oh my goodness, going on. So in Canada and definitely in BC, I know it seems weird for people from other places, but it's what I grew up with. So it's only in more recent times that I've come to understand that this is not typical everywhere. We are really big on fireworks at Halloween, really big, to the point where I have been at a house party where not only did they put on the fireworks show out in the safe part at the end of the driveway of the co-op complex, they had a quarter stick of dynamite and a pumpkin and really wanted to see if the quarter stick of dynamite would blow up the pumpkin, to which I can honestly tell you the answer was no, actually it did not. It was a carved pumpkin already, and so it just kind of blew its lid. more than anything else. It didn't really blow up. But then they subsequently, I think, put firecrackers inside of the pumpkin, at which point there was more of a bursty effect. But it was not the like whoosh kind of explosion that they were really hoping for, and there was much disappointment. A lot of pre-talk about it too. We're going to blow up this quarter stick of dynamite. We're going to blow up pumpkin with quarter stick of dynamite. But hey, you know what? Here I am, all these many years later, getting to talk about the fact that I was at a party where they did indeed try to blow up a pumpkin with a quarter stick of dynamite. So they were not wrong about the funkiness of that moment. So yeah, we are really big on fireworks at Halloween. Poor dogs, poor anyone who has bad nervous reactions to the loud sounds, because whoo, good times. Though I will say, from a weather perspective and a time of the year perspective, it's actually pretty good because it's dark earlier. You don't have to wait till like 11, 12 o'clock at night to get a good dark sky to show it against. Wet ground, not so worried about setting off any particular, like setting things on fire that actually like truly catch fire and then have to be dealt with by fire trucks. So, you know, there are some definite wins. And I think the vague justification, if I was to add one, that may have been used over time, you know, that you make noise to scare the evil spirits away. And it's like, oh, making big noises to scare evil spirits? Hold my beer. We got this. And then we go and we make the biggest noises possible. Anyhow, here we are. We're in this park. There are teenagers having a grand time setting off the fireworks, more the small ones, the screamers and such. Throughout, well, they were more at the other end of the park. They are making a ton of noise. And then there's us. We're a little group of 3 people at that point, because the 4th member was not yet initiated, and so they were not at the initiation. They were waiting back elsewhere, I do believe. We're in a park. We have set up an altar. We got some lanterns going and some candles. Got my witchy robes on. Got an altar going. Nice basic, you know, elements, etc. Got goddess candle. Very, you know, like I said, Brit trad essentially. Yeah, all well and good. Feeling a little shy because we're still kind of in the heart of suburbia, but there's nobody in the park aside from the teenagers at the other end setting off the fireworks. Well, we get to this point where the one to be initiated is bound under a tree and blindfolded, as one should be, right? You're going through initiation. There should be something that is traveling you from one experience to another. There's nothing that I'm going to share, I think, about this ritual that is particularly gobsmacking about the ritual itself. It's more the other experiences that surrounded it. So, yeah, person is in the headspace, getting ready. We have prepared the sacred space for the rite. The person working, well, actually, yeah, we were finished setting up sacred space. Other person is waiting, bound, blindfolded, underneath a tree, quite off to the side, probably like 30, 40 feet away. So there was a real sense of distance, and they were very much in the dark because there was no trees. Yes, I just honked at somebody. Running risks, dangerous things. And lo and behold, cop car pulls in not too far away because it's not that big of a park. So we see some flashing lights at a distance, and there's the stomach drop and the, oh God, oh no. Yep, up walks a couple of officers. Now, I'm the high priestess, so I'm the one that's obviously going to be dealing with this, right? And I am in full, and I mean full ritual mode, you know. I am ready to do an initiation. Deity, the whole kit and caboodle. Here's a police officer. Now let's talk normal talk with somebody who's got badge, and I think our cops here wear guns. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Symbol of authority. Comes in. Excuse me. they say. We've had some calls with concerns about that there were people in the park sacrificing squirrels. Sacrificing squirrels! Okay, yes, I'm in witchy robes. It is Halloween night. I feel you should give me a pass on that one. I do have an altar going. Less of a pass. Totally fair. Squirrels. Sacrificing squirrels. Have you ever caught a squirrel? My dog has not caught a squirrel. She is at least part rat terrier, right? She's in it to win it. She is trying. She is booking it. She has been at it for the, 2.5 years that I have had her. She is trying. She has not caught a squirrel. You think that we are catching and sacrificing? You think we could catch a squirrel? Also, a good portion of the squirrels in that park are black, and it's dark. Do you see any squirrels? Do you see squirrels around here that we can catch? Like, what kind of delusional mindset thinks that we could actually be doing that? Also, have a look at our altar, sir. I actually didn't do that, but upon reflection, that probably would have been good. Ain't no squirrels here. So I did have kind of a no, how would we even catch a squirrel? No, we're not sacrificing squirrels. Oh, well, what are you doing? To which my answer was, have you heard of Wicca, sir? No, can you tell me about it? Well, it's a nature-based religion that likes to celebrate through the seasons, and so we are here because this is a night at which we celebrate to honor the changing of the seasons and celebrate our new year, and as such we come out, blah, 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 blah. I actually don't really remember. No, I really don't remember what I said. I remember the, have you heard of Wicca, sir? Followed by me being very calm and kind of reasonable with the nice kind of comfortable explanations that still aligned. They were truthful, just bringing more comfort to the officer. Well, how much longer do you think you're going to take? I'm like, it'll probably take us, will you be done in a few minutes? It would actually be more like probably half an hour, 45 minutes. Well, if you could be done in half an hour, that would be great. Okay, we will endeavor to be done in half an hour. Thank you. Thank you for, allowing us to continue. So off they go back to their cop car, which is joined relatively shortly by like a paddy wagon situation. I'm like, are you guys planning to pick us just up and throw us in? We had 2 or 3 police vehicles hanging out at not that far of a distance. I mean, far enough they were not actively involved in the ritual. They could not see the specifics of what was going on. We still had that kind of distance, so it was still okay to continue. But you could also clearly make out that not that far away was a series of cop cars where they were sticking around near us and completely ignoring the ramshackle or rampaging, better word, teenagers who were yelling and screaming and setting off the fireworks and generally just being, teenage mayhem makers. Nope, not them. Well, we're going to stick around the 2, though 3, people who are very quiet. We were in robes and we had candles. Now, thank God, they did not see the ritual knife. They did not notice, because they never did notice or comment on the person who was blindfolded and tied up under the tree, and when we collected the person for the ritual, because we did go through with it, right? I was raised up, traditionally speaking, that if anything interfered with an initiation, that it would be a year and a day before the person could attempt it again, right? That there was, if it failed for whatever reason, that was meant to therefore that was the God speaking. So, who might have let a couple of cops in a little bit of a moment there stop us from having this ritual continue? So we did. And they were far enough away that they actually, I don't think they knew what was going on. Can't quite remember, but I don't think they did. I think they got to miss it all and simply got to meditate in their beautiful, quiet zone while my ritual partner and I had to be a little more in the moment. Kudos to my ritual partner, who was mostly quiet, as I recall, but I do, if anything was said, it was definitely in support of what I was doing, but they trusted me to take care of it, which was also my role because I was the oldest and most experienced one there. And yeah, so we continued through with the initiation, which the rest of it went beautifully. We were a little careful on the use of the knife and what could be seen from a distance. So we paid some attention to the visual angles and the light angles so as to not lend itself towards additional questions and commentary. Yeah, so we did it, and it was good. And then we finished up, and I don't think we interacted with the police as we were leaving. I think we just packed up and headed out. And as soon as we did, of course, all the cop cars also packed up and headed out. But all in all, it was a very successful rite. It was a beautiful night in a lot of ways and absolutely memorable. So, and what I'm proud to say, one of the things I was really proud of is I managed to have that entire very sane, very calm, rational, soothing conversation with the police officer, and I held on to the ritual mindset at the same time, which no small feat, I want to say, to be able to hold on to all of those energetic connections, because we had been building up, right? Like we were almost to the point of collecting the initiate. So I had all that energy thrumming through me, and I was in an altered state of consciousness. I was in that zone. I'm doing the things and their presence and all the rest of it. And I managed to have a very direct and clearly reassuring enough conversation that even though it seemed very strange to them, they still allowed us to continue. And the moment they walked off, it was like, okay, letting them go, and not picking all those threads back up, but it was rather that I had submerged them beneath the necessities of the moment. And once that moment had passed, I was able to release that squish or that repression or that hold that I'd been going on, and allow the energies to come back through, and then just had to do a little extra settling of myself to kind of realign into that mindset, because my conscious mind was a lot more awake than it would normally be at that particular stage of working in magic. So I'm particularly proud of that. I was really proud of how we handled it, how the initiation was a beautiful, strong initiation, and that the initiate was not impacted by what was going on. I did also learn that, and I have done at least 2 more Samhains in that park that I distinctly recall. Yes? One is coming to mind right now, but there was another one I think earlier that I was thinking of. I love doing ritual. I have done. Yep. 2 others that distinctly come to mind. But what I have also learned is if you're going to do a ritual where the public has access, and particularly in suburban neighborhoods that are very safe and very middle class, maybe upper middle class white neighborhoods, at least. I can't speak for other ones because that's the environment we were in. They get nervous, and you kind of have to be ready for and account for that, because people got the feelings, and what you gonna do? And I get that the police have to watch out for people doing really weird and horrible things. A little more education might work. And I have thought that if I was ever to do that again, a really responsible thing to do, though, oh my God, talk about not wanting to do it, would be to go to the local police station first and go, hi, so I know the parks are closed after dark, but it is our spiritual practice to do outside, because nature practice, on this, Samhain night on the 31st in the woods, and to do the thing, and, candles, fire safety, you know, we have the people safety and the fire safety and stuff, but I do recognize that people can get weird about it. And can we do this and have you not freak out, essentially, conversation, because you have the conversation ahead of time, as much as we have had an ongoing, you know, belief that's always put out there about better to forgiveness versus permission, you know. Well, no, what forgiveness versus permission really just puts it onto you've screwed over whoever it is that would not have given you permission, and you're forcing them into a situation. You know, that is a conversation for another day. But there is a lot to be said for getting permission in the first place, because boy, can it make a lot of other things easier. I also, in more recent times, have thought that it would be fun to do it as a, I want to say like Halloween mask, but more like not a skit, but it's like doing ritual for the masses. If you think like haunted house and people come in and people scare them, but putting on essentially a ritual experience / show that's very deliberately meant to be essentially ritual art, you know, provocative to the masses that come through and around, so that when the inevitable, because I have been in that park during ritual and had the cops called again on me, but that is a story for another day, that I could have a different kind of conversation when that happens, that's more about, oh, sorry, officer, we were just really enjoying the Halloween thing, and we thought it would be fun to add to people's experiences and give them some extra good times. Yeah, so that's on my potential list as well, so that I don't have to, for a third time, because, oh yeah, on the second time, did I totally use the, have you heard of Wicca, sir? You damn betcha I did. It's now my phrase. Have you heard of Wicca, sir? Because it served me so well the first time. And on that note, I want to wish you all a most wondrous Samhain. May what you seek be found by the time you need it. Apparently that's the blessing that we are offering today. Take great care of yourselves, and I will see you anon. Blessings of the weird and the wild to you. Blessed be.